Thank you for this opportunity to say a few words about Professor T.K. Oommen, whom many of us admired both for his scholarship and his conviviality. He was one of the stalwarts of Jawaharlal Nehru University, an outstanding sociologist, and as Prabhat just said, a very influential presence in the School of Social Sciences for many decades. Now, through his wide-ranging scholarship on social movements, national identity, citizenship, ethnicity, pluralism, and above all, social justice, he helped shape some of the most important debates in Indian society, in Indian sociology, and, of course, within JNU. His work on the relationship between state and ethnicity was particularly important, as Professor Xaxa just mentioned, particularly his analysis of communal violence and ethnic conflict in India, and that offered an important framework for thinking about identity, security, and belonging in a deeply diverse society like ours. I think what was striking about Professor Oommen's work was the way it drew our attention to the everyday anxiety, the way it drew our attention to the everyday anxieties and aspirations of ordinary people, as well as, very importantly, to the questions of exclusion, recognition, and identity. At a time when many societies around the world are drawn to the ideas of sameness, uniformity, homogeneity, he reminded us of the importance of pluralism and the challenge of reconciling it with equality in a democratic society. I think that was really his signal contribution, was the attempt to combine recognition and equality. Professor Oommen often emphasized the idea that a nation is not merely a political structure, but a felt community, where the intensity of people's attachment depends on the degree of social integration. In societies marked by diversity, however, the sense of unity can be strained when cultural and social differences translate into inequality or hierarchical perceptions about groups, for example, about immigrants and so on. So nation building, according to him, therefore depends not on eliminating diversity, but on accommodating it while fostering both recognition and equity. This demands policies that enable marginalized groups to participate on an equal footing within the broader national communities. And thus, I think in many of his writings, he promoted, for example, the ideas of federalism, multicultural citizenship, and inclusive policies, which are essential for sustaining nation building. Now, both Salman Khurshid and Prabhat have mentioned that Professor Oommen was also closely associated with the Xaxa Committee report, which challenged the widely circulated myth of Muslim appeasement. As an important member of the committee, perhaps one of its most important members, he made a significant contribution. I think he made a rather remarkable contribution to that landmark report. It showed that Muslims lagged behind most other communities, barring the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, and in some cases, even behind the scheduled castes on every socio-economic indicator. I believe the report's deep sociological insights, that is, the Xaxa Committee report's deep sociological insights, owed much to Professor Oommen's intellectual influence. I remember many animated discussions with him when he was a member of this committee and on various aspects of the Xaxa Committee, and I had the privilege of attending a few of the subgroup meetings of this committee at his invitation. So in the end then, Professor Oommen remained deeply committed to the idea of a plural, secular, and equal society, a commitment, I think, that was both humane and unwavering. And conversations with him, and I had many conversations with him in the School of Social Sciences, with him were always very engaging, very interesting, quite stimulating, and above all, these conversations were always enlivened by his great sense of humor, a rather gentle and wonderful sense of humor. Thank you.